three laws that we need to learn about is ISO. ISO stands for International Standards Organisation. Bit of a confusing title. It's just one of those things that's always been, so always will be, because there's no need to change it. So ISO is a number ranging from 100 at the bottom on most cameras, might go a little bit lower on some, but probably on yours it'll start at 100 at the bottom and go up to about 3,200 or 6,400. Probably 100 to 3,200 is the main range. ISO 100 will give you a better quality image, no grain visible on top, no black flecks being the grain. ISO 6400 will give you a lower quality image, lots of black flecks, grain added onto the image. ISO 100 lets less light, the lower the number, the less light is let to the sensor, the lower sensitivity it has to light. Therefore it doesn't get the black flecks, but it does make a darker image. If they use the same settings on your camera but just change the ISO to 3,200 or 6,400, a high number, you will get a lot of grain on your image, but a brighter image because it's higher, got higher sensitivity to light. So it adds grain, but it also lets more light to the sensor in through your lens and gives you a brighter image. Okay, so it's a constant balancing act. Photography is a constant balancing act. You will very rarely, unless you've got perfect lighting in a studio setting, you will very rarely get that perfect balance. You always have to compromise on something to get the other thing just right. So with ISO, if you want to let more light in, because it's darker and you want to make the image brighter, you want a higher ISO number, up to, for like 1,000, from ISO 800 up to 3,200, somewhere up that end. If you've got more light in your situation, so if you're outside, you can almost always get away with 100, 200, 400, those low numbers of ISO where you'll get low grain on your image, but it lets less light in. Because you're outside, you've got more light available, you can let less light in and get that higher quality image. So you want to aim for as low a number as you can, but you might have to adjust that up to let more light in if it's dark. Okay, so I've put some examples together for you. This is an indoor image, no flashes used, just light coming in through the window in the living room. You can see the ISO 100 image is a bit darker, but if you look at the zoomed in, the close-up of the table leg, you can see there's no grain on the picture at all. It's dark, but there's no grain. If you look at the other image, the ISO 6400 image, it's brighter. You can see the shady areas more in the picture. Still no flashes used, exactly the same setup, same settings used, all apart from the ISO. But if you look at the zoomed in version of the picture, you can see that there's grain, there's those black spots that I was talking about on the image. Somewhere in the middle would have given you probably the perfect balance. Once you've learned about aperture and shutter speed, you can adjust those two factors as well. At the moment, just looking at ISO, the lower ISO number, ISO 100, gave a no grain on the image, but it was darker. The ISO 6400 had a lot of grain on the image, but it was brighter. So you can see the difference, and as you go up the scale in between, 100, 200, 400, 800, doubles every time, you can see how it affects the image. If you have a play with your camera, setting up exactly the same shot, just change the ISO and you'll see the difference just on your viewfinder on your camera. It's harder to see, but you will see that difference in quality and the grain amount that appears on your picture. So you're always aiming for as low as possible, but you will have to adjust depending on your situation. Okay?